And good evening. I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, a huge move on impeachment. Today, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, going before cameras to tell the American public that he is launching an impeachment inquiry by another name.
You're saying there's no difference between what you're doing now and an impeachment inquiry, correct?
In effect.
In effect, Nadler believes that this lawsuit, which he just filed today, is his path to getting secret, never-before-seen grand jury records from the Mueller investigation. Secret evidence, which includes interviews with Trump's inner circle, evidence that the Trump administration has thus far refused to hand over, and evidence that Nadler believes holds the key to proving President Trump must be impeached. Now, so tonight with this move, with this lawsuit, to get that grand jury information, Nadler is giving the impression that things are moving on impeachment, and they are. Tonight, 101 members of Congress are calling for a formal impeachment inquiry, 6 jumping on board since Robert Mueller's testimony in front of Congress this week. Now, the most obvious way to get the secret grand jury testimony is to launch formal impeachment proceedings. But Nadler is filing this lawsuit to get the secret information, to do it this way, sort of an end around, because House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is simply not yet on board.
We will proceed when we have what we need to proceed, not one day sooner. And everybody has the liberty and the luxury to espouse their own position and to criticize me.
Well, right now, the majority of Democrats are still behind Pelosi. But make no mistake, as you watch tonight, this is changing. And Nadler's lawsuit is a new chapter on the road to impeachment.
I would say we are in an impeachment investigation. This is an impeachment investigation.
And the person at the center of this impeachment investigation is defiant tonight, saying he's not afraid.
These people are clowns. The Democrats are clowns. They're being laughed at all over the world.
Manu Raju is out front live on Capitol Hill. So, Manu, look, this lawsuit is a very significant development. Why does Chairman Nadler think, what does he think he's going to get in this grand jury information, right? I mean, they're counting on something being there.
Yeah, they're trying to build the case against the president and very significantly citing they need this information to determine whether or not to move forward with an impeachment, articles of impeachment that his committee would take up. Now, this debate has been brewing internally for weeks. The House Judiciary Committee Democrats have tried to push forward on the issue of going forward with an impeachment inquiry. Jerry Nadler himself has directly appealed to the Speaker over the several weeks, has made the case that they need to move forward. She has resisted time and again, but significantly, Erin, I'm told that she did, in fact, sign off on that language that is in the lawsuit saying articles of impeachment are under consideration by the House Judiciary Committee. She gave the green light to that. Also, she's been giving the green light to her members that they need to support an impeachment inquiry. She's saying, go right ahead. Similarly, also today, when I asked her if she's simply trying to run out the clock by saying, why don't we fight this in the courts? She said she is not trying to run out the clock, and she's changed her messaging a bit. Instead of saying this is going to be a fruitless endeavor in the House because Republicans in the Senate will ultimately kill any impeachment move and not convict the president and remove him from office, she's not saying that anymore, saying instead, let's see what we get in court, and then this will make a decision. She said today, when I asked her about it, this will not be, quote, endless. So this move today, very significant. You can hear the posture and the language changing from the leadership. Whether they actually pull the trigger, still an open question, but a major development in the direction that a lot of Democrats have been pushing to impeach this president.
All right. Thank you very much, Manu. And I want to go now out front to the Democratic Congressman Lisa Blunt Rochester, one of 6 Democrats who have come out in favor of an impeachment inquiry post Robert Mueller's testimony. I appreciate having you on again, Congresswoman. Is Chairman Nadler's lawsuit effectively the start of impeachment proceedings?
Well, I don't serve on the Judiciary Committee, but I can tell you, first of all, to just put some context around me making this decision.
Yes.
It was a very difficult one, and it's one I didn't take lightly. I represent a whole state. I'm one of 7 members who represent a whole state, a very diverse state, from our farmers to our small business to indivisible. And it was, for me, something that had to be very deliberate, and there had to be a tipping point. And this week, for me, was a tipping point.
So what exactly about it was the tipping point?
Yeah, first of all, anyone who had an opportunity to read the 448-page report saw that there were already the actual examples 10 of obstruction of justice. And we've also, I thought it was also pretty strong for Director Mueller to talk about the president not being exonerated. But one of the other things that was a tipping point was when Val Demings, the Congresswoman from Florida, asked the question about the president being truthful. And to hear the director say that he was not at all times truthful was important. And then another tipping point for me was the fact that we have seen so much stonewalling, so many people not provide either information, testimony, or even come before the committee. And so to me, impeachment and the proceedings are one of the ways for us to add a firmer legal ground and to put more pressure. And lastly, I'm going to tell you, one of the biggest tipping points for me was to see Director Mueller, this man who has served our country admirably, worked for Democrats and Republicans, and to see the pain on his face when he expressed a fear that this might become the new normal. It can't become the new normal. That was the tipping point for me. This is not normal.
So I know, look, you agonized over it, and a few of the points that you just made there as the tipping point happened in that hearing, right? The look on his face, the moment.
Yes.
And we had Congresswoman Demings on that night when he said that the President of the United States was untruthful in some of those written responses. That was a stunning moment. But the President today said, oh, I watched Mueller too, and here was his takeaway.
All they want to do is impede. They want to investigate. They want to go fishing. And I watch Bob Mueller, and they have nothing.
Nothing.
So if I could respond, I think, first of all, there are things that we are doing as Democrats and Republicans. I'm on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and so we are working on the issues that affect people. We passed 25 bills out of committee just last week on a bipartisan basis for health care, climate change, robocalls. But at the same time, we have a responsibility. We took an oath that nobody is above the law, and we have, within the Constitution, the responsibility to follow this investigation where it leads. And so there are clearly things that are evidence, and part of the impeachment process is actually to get at the real evidence that's there.
So let me ask you about that, because that real evidence that's there, obviously, the belief of the House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler is that the grand jury testimony is crucial to that. You need those interviews, you need everything else. One way to get that is a formal impeachment proceeding, that you could go ahead and get that. The White House has obviously refused to hand it over. They're fighting it in court. Another, Chairman Nadler believes, is this lawsuit that he's filed to get it. But as to what's happening right now, is this impeachment or not? Let me just play again the exchange he had with Armanu Raju, Congresswoman.
You're saying there's no difference between what you're doing now and an impeachment inquiry, correct?
In effect.
In effect. Is that good enough for you?
You know, again, I don't sit on that committee. I have faith and confidence in the Speaker. I have faith and confidence in the members of that committee, in addition to the 5 others who are actually in the midst of investigations, from everything to receiving his tax returns.
Right. I'm just saying, Chairman Nadler's the one who would formally launch the proceedings if they were to occur for the House, right? So he's saying, in effect, and obviously the House Speaker says she's not there yet. So I guess what I'm getting at is, are you frustrated right now, or are you clean sailing?
You know, I don't even think it's an issue of that. I think it's an issue of the Speaker has a job to do. She cares about this country. She doesn't want to see us divided any more than we already are. And so she has to do her work. She has said to us as members that she respects us and the positions that we have to take. For me, I've shared with others, I was a kid that grew up in the 60s when Russia was a scary threat to us, when we had air raid drills. And so to see a campaign and an administration not look at the attack that was made on our country, and it was an attack. It might not have been nuclear, but it was a real attack, and it has affected us. And to me, we have to hold him accountable. No one is above the law.
All right, thank you very much.
And if we love this country, we got to fight for this country.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. As always, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.